Throughout time, there have been men to whom justice has been more important than life itself. From these ranks come 4 men, prepared to fight valiantly on the side of justice, wherever the need may be. Joined together in this cause, they are the 4 Just Men.
I'm sorry about this last-minute rush, Professor, but it's in your own best interest.
I think you security people at MI5 tend to overestimate the risk.
You've left behind nothing that indicates the lines you're working on?
Apart from these, all my research is in my head.
Then we can be going. I'm sorry your daughter hasn't arrived in time to say goodbye.
Can't we wait a little longer? I'm afraid she'll be worried.
You're not going to the African jungle, Professor. You can write.
Oh, thank you.
Please wait a minute. Come back! No! Come back!
Miss Menger, sir.
Ah, Miss Menger, how nice to see you again.
It was good of you to let me come.
Come and sit by the fire. I'll turn that off. You know, of all the gifts your country has made to the world, I think perhaps the greatest is its music, and for me, Brahms especially. And let me get you a sherry. You said on the phone that you wanted to see me about your father.
Yes, I'm so worried about him.
Well, now you tell me about it. Don't let's rush the fences, hmm?
He's gone away, and I don't know where he is. You see, 6 weeks ago, 2 men came from MI5. Is that what you call it? They said there was some plot to stop him continuing with his research work and persuaded him to go away and work under government protection.
Yes, but surely he writes still. Hmm?
A letter each week from a different postal district in London.
You're sure it's his own handwriting?
Quite sure.
I wouldn't worry about it much.
Wait. Yesterday, 2 other men came to the house. Where was my father? Why had he left the country?
Left the country? Who were these men?
That's just it. They said they were from MI5, too.
Did they, indeed?
I know what they're trying to suggest.
What?
That my father's a traitor. How can they say such things? My father loves England. After what he went through in Germany under the Nazis, he found peace here. Oh, Mr. Manfred, how can I find the truth?
When you want information in a hurry, I've always found it best to go to the top.
Ah, nice to see you, Ben.
Sorry to trouble you, Charles.
Sit down. Cigarette?
Thank you very much. It's about Menger. Dr. Carl Menger.
Why are you interested?
I've known Menger for many years. Some of us helped to get him out of Germany in 1939, and during the war he did valuable work for the Allies. Now he seems to be in some kind of trouble. I'd like to help him if I can.
We are old friends, Ben. Take a little advice from me, will you? Forget it.
Well, tell me why.
It won't enhance your opinion of him.
I'll risk that.
Well, he's working on a new kind of metal alloy, resistant to cosmic radiation and so on. Might be very valuable in our defense program. We gave him a grant to help his work at Cambridge. Now he's walked out on us, left the country.
What makes you so sure of that?
When we found he was missing from Cambridge, we checked back. On the day he left, an air passage was booked for him from London to New York. He never arrived. It appears he stopped off in Ireland at Shannon Airport, and that's the last trace we have of him.
I see. And, of course, from Shannon, you can fly pretty well anywhere. Rome, Berlin, Moscow, even.
Precisely.
So you penciled him in as a traitor. Did it never occur to you that he might have been tricked?
You mean the daughter's story about the two men purporting to come from MI5 who took him away from Cambridge? A very naive cover story for so brilliant a man to invent?
Yes, isn't it?
Oh, it's no use, Ben. You've heard the facts. They speak for themselves.
Not as clearly as they do to you. Perhaps I'm a little deaf. A sudden, unexplained happening in a long career of loyal service. That's what I hear.
Are you listening as a member of Parliament? Or as one of the four just men?
Let justice be done, though the heavens fall. That used to be a favorite quotation of yours when we were at Oxford together. Goodbye, Charles.
But it's not true. My father loves England. He would never betray her.
Yes, of course, I'm sure of that. I wonder how they got hold of this story. Jock, any news from Paris? The Evening Echo, that's one of Simon Arkwright's papers, isn't it? See if you can get me Arkwright himself on the phone, will you? Right. You've brought your father's letters with you, have you, Miss Menger?
Yes, he sent me 6 altogether.
Thank you.
I'm afraid he doesn't give you much information.
Mr. Arkwright, my name is Manfred.
Oh, yes, Mr. Manfred. We've never met, but I've heard a lot about you.
In this country, a man is innocent until proved guilty. Your paper has already judged Menger guilty. On what grounds?
On the facts, Mr. Manfred.
Where did you get the facts? I understood from the Home Office the whole matter was sub judice.
An important newspaper such as mine, Mr. Manfred, has a duty to the public to ferret out treachery, corruption, and expose it to the world. Believe me, it is not a power that I wield lightly.
Power is a dangerous thing, Mr. Arkwright. A corrupting force in itself. As for Menger, you know, the more I think about it, the more sure I am you're going to have a whopping great libel action on your hands. Good day. Now, look, Miss Menger, you leave your father's letters with me, and as soon as I get any news, I'll phone you.
Mr. Collier is on the line from Paris, sir.
All right, Jock, drive Miss Menger home, will you? And try not to worry too much.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Tim. This is urgent.
Professor Carl Menger.
I think Menger's trying to tell us something.
But what?
I'm not quite sure yet. But look at this. He gives the time as well as the date, 7:57 p.m. And this one. Look, I breakfast at 8 o'clock, so I have only 3 minutes to finish this letter.
And what about it?
And this, look. Almost 8 o'clock, 3 minutes short of it, and I'm a little tired after 12 hours of close calculation. They're all the same. All written at 3 minutes to 8.
If they were censoring his mail, you'd think they would notice it.
I doubt it. It's clear enough to us when you see all the letters together, but if anyone was censoring them, they'd see them one at a time with a week between each. The coincidence wouldn't show up, even if they were looking for a code.
But is it a code, sir?
I doubt it. It's too short. I think he's giving us the latitude and longitude. I think he's telling us where he is.
Oh, I get it. 7:57. Like 7 degrees east, 57 north, eh?
In the middle of the North Sea. It's ingenious, Jock, and exciting, but a little unlikely. Now, 7 west, 57 north. There you are. It's an island in the Hebrides. Name of Eris Saig, off the northwest of Scotland. Tim?
Over here in France, Professor Courvoisier is working on the same lines as your man Menger. He hasn't gotten past the initial stages. Frederickson in the States is even less advanced.
This metal alloy that Menger's working on is of such composition that it will stand up to electronic bombardment of cosmic radiation.
Yeah, but where is all this leading?
As far as I can make it out, to the moon.
Well, if your hunch is correct, Ben, then your man Menger is a dead duck.
Not yet, he isn't. Thanks, Tim. I'll keep you posted.
Bye.
Get me packed up, Jock. I've a long journey ahead of me.
Eh?
No. Jock, not the moon, not this time. To the Hebrides.
Where did you spring from?
The harbor. I only just made it. My engine's packed up.
You're the lucky one. There's a tide rip out in the Minch. You'd have been matchwood in no time.
Well, I thought it was a bit choppy. Do you think I might have a pint of beer?
Yes, of course. There are days when we can't get across to the mainland at all. There's a ferry, but you have to call them. And if they don't feel like it, they just don't come.
Oh. Nice, friendly people.
Oh, this is the end of the world, just about.
Thank you.
Still, it's been better since the Navy opened up the depot again. It brings some kind of life about the place.
What are they doing here?
Oh, your guess is as good as mine. I won't say I haven't asked, but they're giving nothing. Anyway, we've better things to talk about, thank you. If you're so interested, why don't you look for yourself? You can see the place from the top of the hill.
Oh, perhaps I will.
Who's the new arrival?
The gentleman with the cabin cruiser. He's just as curious about you.
Is he?
He was asking about you boys.
Well, what do you want to know?
What's going on up at the depot?
I hope you didn't tell him anything. It's top security, you know.
How could I? Nobody ever tells me anything.
No, and they're not likely to, sweetheart. What does he look like?
Good evening, everybody. Oh, let me buy you a drink. I'll have the same.
Thanks.
I was hoping to run into some of you chaps. Tell me, who's the officer in charge up here?
Commander Rice, sir.
Commander Rice. What was he in before he got this lot?
2 beers.
Oh.
Cheers.
Cheers. What did you say Commander Rice was in before this?
Destroyers, I think, sir.
Yes, it must be the same Rice. I met him in the Far East just about the time the Japs packed up. But I thought he'd been retired on pension.
Apparently not, sir.
Where were you at that time?
Malta, sir.
San Angelo?
Ricasoli.
Oh, yes, submarines, wasn't it?
No, sir. They were over at Manuel.
That's right, of course they were. I'm afraid my memory is not as good as it was.
With Commander Rice's compliments. This place is top security, and that applies to everyone. You know your orders.
Aye, eyes up.
Drink up, chum. We'd better be getting back.
I'll come along with you. I'd like to see Commander Rice again. We had 1 or 2 very pleasant evenings together.
I'm afraid I couldn't get you into the depot, sir. It's very strict security.
Oh, that's all right. I'll put things straight with the CO for you.
Sorry, sir. I couldn't take the risk.
Well, I tell you what, I'll come as far as the gate, and then we can make a signal to him from there, all right?
I can't stop you coming to the gates.
Fine, let's go.
Good night, boys. Don't get lost.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, good morning, sir. You feeling better?
What the devil are you doing in my boat?
CO's orders, sir. You had a nasty fall last night, knocked yourself out.
Did I?
Yes, sir. We had to carry you aboard.
That was kind of you. What are you doing for me now?
Well, the CO said he'd heard that you'd had some trouble with your engine, sir. He asked me to look them over. Couldn't find anything wrong, sir, but I tuned them up a bit. I thought I'd give her a test run.
Thank you. Supposing you give her a test run back into harbour, my friend.
Just coming in now, sir. Port side.
All right, I'll take her.
Commander Rice's apologies, sir. He'd like to offer you hospitality, but we're under absolute security.
Yes, I'm beginning to realize.
I know you by reputation, sir, and I'm sure you wouldn't wish to embarrass service officers in carrying out their duties.
No, of course not. I should be pushing off myself anyway. Give Commander Rice my compliments and say that I hope to see him some other time.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Come along, petty officer.
Manfred? Yes, I've come to take you away.
Thank God. I couldn't have held out much longer. I stalled as long as I could, but today...
They got tough with you, hmm?
That would have done no good. They want my knowledge. That means keeping me alive. No, they threatened to get at Ilse.
You wait here. I'll call out the guard.
Have you any idea who's behind this?
No, but whoever it is after power.
Because of this alloy of yours?
Yes. When perfected, it will be the key to man's next step forward in the conquest of outer space.
They must have found the gap I made. Now, you hadn't seen me, understand? Don't give up hope. I'll be back. What the devil's going on here? I want to see Commander Rice. Take me to him at once.
Very good, sir. Fall in behind you two men.
I can't think what you're playing at, Manfred. I made it quite plain that this place is top security.
Yes, I know, but my dear fellow, there was something I simply had to see you about.
What is it?
I accepted the story your fellow said about my fall last night. But believe me, that fellow Barker did slug me. Oh, I understand. I'd been asking him a lot of questions, and I'm sure you'd been shoving security into him, but it's not very good for discipline, is it? I mean, probably he did get into a bit of a panic, but all the same.
Is that all you came back for?
Oh, Good heavens. My dear fellow, you can't allow your men to go around socking innocent members of Parliament, if there is such a thing. Well, of course, I shan't mention it to anyone, but I do think you ought to rap him over the knuckles.
Oh, certainly. You're quite right. Call it excessive zeal, if you like. But I'll haul him over the coals for it.
Splendid.
I've had your boat sent round to the quay. Rather undignified to go crawling through that hole again.
Jolly good show.
Right here. Yes, sir. Excuse me. Not yet, sir. I know, sir, but... Tomorrow, right, sir. I'll have you met at Cregan. Yes, sir, 8 o'clock.
Trouble?
Oh, not more than usual. Your boat will be round to the quay in half an hour. Come and have a pink gin meanwhile.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
Where will you put up for the night?
Well, I believe there's a good little pub over on the mainland at Cregan.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, chum, security.
Are you from Commander Rice?
Yeah.
Lead the way, will you? He'll follow.
Yeah. Let's have a look at you.
Where's Rice? Who are you?
Manfred. You're Arkwright.
What are you doing here?
Looking after the interests of Carl Menger. As for Commander Rice, he's back at that fake naval depot you had reopened. It was easy enough to buy those out-of-work ex-naval types. But Menger was a tougher nut to crack.
I'll break you, Manfred. Ruin you. You won't be the first politician I've had kicked out of Parliament.
Only my constituents can do that. Listen, Arkwright. You're powerful, all right, but men like you are never satisfied. You want absolute power. If people like Menger get killed in the process...
What do little men like Menger matter? Power must be in the hands of people who know how to use it.
I've heard that before. Mussolini and Hitler tried it, and it was left to the little men to pick up the pieces. The world isn't like that anymore. Menger's genius will be used for the benefit of mankind. Space is there to be conquered for the good of us all and the glory of God, not for any one man.
Don't you see? With Menger's knowledge, power, control, will be mine.
You're mad.
You can't take it away from me. You shan't. It's mine. Only one thing that troubles me. Will they let me stay in this country?
Well, if your formula works, I should think they'd make you Prime Minister to keep you here.
Oh, I don't think I could accept that.
Oh, what a pity. You'd be better than most. Oh, never mind. How about Minister for Outer Space?